Okay. All right. Well, we've never done this virtually. We've never done this virtually, Stephanie, so you've got to kind of lead us through what the protocol is.
Okay, well, where are our new members?
New members are, we got Chris right there, just raised his hand.
I'm here.
Catherine's got her hand up. Okay. And then the rest of us are just old renews.
Old renews, huh? Okay, so I guess that those that are participating can unmute, and let me go to my notes here.
Okay.
And I want to make just a couple brief comments after this, Dawn, as well. Okay, so please raise your right hand.
Okay.
As a member of the Agua Dolce community, do you solemnly swear and commit to fulfill your leadership role on the town council? If so, say I do.
I do.
I do.
Do you pledge to serve the residents of the area, take a leadership role in all you do, and uphold community ideals?
I do.
I do.
I do.
Do you pledge to be responsible, forthright, dedicated, and honest member of the Agua Dolce Town Council, listening to all community ideas and concerns?
I do.
I do.
As Supervisor Barger's senior deputy for the area, I hereby charge you to uphold the principle and spirit of the words you have just spoken, and I will say congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For those who are new, congratulations to all. I just, and to the community, I just want to share with you that, I've worked with town councils for many, many years. They come in all shapes and sizes, their personalities, and I really commend the Agua Dolce Town Council for the way you all operate, your professionalism, how you approach issues very mindfully and carefully in support of the community. So this is a great organization to be a part of, and congratulations to everybody.
Thank you, Stephanie. That's wonderful. Glad to have you aboard. Okay, so we're all set, ready to have our first meeting of 2022. Let's start off with the agency reports. First agency to give a report is the California Highway Patrol. If we have someone, oh my goodness. Yes, we do. Officer Hallgren. Please, you have the floor.
Okay, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. First, I want to start out by saying it's good to see you guys again.
Yeah.
I have some stats from 2021. I just want to kind of go over like total stats for the year. It was kind of a unique year, obviously. For Agua Dolce, citations just for the area were up from 611 from 2020. They're up. 2021 was 836. So citations jumped up quite a bit in your area. Arrests actually jumped up quite a bit too. In 2020, there was a total of 31 arrests within the area. 9 were felony arrests, 21 misdemeanor, and most of the misdemeanor were DUI. In 2021, it went from 31 total arrests to 70. So that was quite a big jump. 16 felonies, 54 misdemeanors. So the misdemeanor arrests, they doubled, which is good. Our guys have been out there. 2020 and 2021, it's been our job's been pretty unique. How we conduct business and everything else, and with COVID and even jails. We have a real hard time trying to book somebody right now because of COVID. So we make arrests, and we'll take them down to the Santa Clarita station, and half the time they cite them out. They don't even want them in the jail. So that makes our job pretty unique. But our guys are still been out there doing pretty well as far as their arrests go. As far as collisions, just in the month of December, I just went back just the past month, and there was a total of 20 collisions.
With personalized support, let you adjust your comfort level and even massage you to sleep. So before you rise,
Okay, Kim, you're going to have to mute yourself. because we can't hear Officer Helgren's report with you. Okay, go ahead.
All
right.
It'll work now.
How you doing, Mary?
Good.
Good to see you. So collisions for your area just for the month of December, there was a total of 20 collisions. 12 were property damage only, and 8 were collision or injury collisions. And out of the 20 total collisions, 5 resulted in DUI arrests. As far as, I'll give you these numbers, there's, I took the numbers from the whole area, 2021. For citations for the total Newhall area, we issued 20,956 citations in the year 2021. We issued 804 plus citations. So these citations were just for vehicles going over 100 miles an hour. And that's way up. DUI arrest for the area was 742. Traffic collisions, there was a total of 2,753. And to break that down, 800 were injury, 1,935 was property damage only. And for the area, we had a total of 18 fatal collisions, which is about average for our area. And then to break it down even further, I looked at the county road fatal collisions, and we're at 7. Last year we were at 8, so it dropped 1. But in 2019 we were down to 4, which was pretty much our best year since I've been at Newhall over the past 7 years. So those are, hopefully I didn't speak too fast and give you too many numbers here, but that's a breakdown of 2021.
Great, that's fantastic. We're sorry for a lot of the numbers went up, but I think under the situation that everybody's under, I think they probably, you see that statewide or just strictly in LA County in your particular area?
So it's kind of a wide open question. We see, so since from 2020 through 2021, speed has been atrocious. With all the lockdowns, I travel back and forth over the Grapevine every morning and every afternoon. And with no traffic, cars are flying. So speed is definitely up. And then we ended up focusing on speed, and I spent a lot of my time on the Grapevine because that's where our commanders kind of wanted us because of all the speed over the Grapevine. So I would say because of the lack of traffic, our numbers jumped quite a bit in 2020 and 2021. And I'll be curious to see what this year brings since traffic is back.
Great. Anybody else have a question for Officer Hallman? If not, we want to thank you very much for showing up tonight and giving us a report. We appreciate it. We're going to continue on. Thank you. Appreciate the work you guys are doing.
Thank you, sir.
Next up, we have Los Angeles County Sheriff Resident Deputy Martinez. I see that he's front and center here. Deputy Martinez, you have the floor.
Good evening, guys. Welcome back, Officer Halloran. Obviously, going after you always sucks because you get lots of good stats and stuff, and unfortunately, people don't like to hear my stats as much as yours. So, for the month of December, we had 0 Part 1 crimes, but for the total year, it was going to be 15, and our property crimes were 7, with a total of 58, which is a 163% jump from the previous year. But like I've told you guys, small number of crimes, it changes the percentages. So last year, in comparison, we had 22 property crimes versus 58. Some of that, though, as Mary knows from some of the emails we've sent out, is errors on the deputies putting what reporting district happening. So, like, out of the 7 that you guys had for the month of December, 1 was actually Acton. So you really had 6. So at the same token, not criminal, but like the missing persons ones, there was 7 on your guys' stats this month, but there was an extra 5 from the location we've been talking about that actually were on there that were put on Acton. So That's been fixed on the back end. Our crime analyst had stage 4 cancer and had a couple strokes this last year. So some of the stuff is newer people trying to catch up, and we're still trying to figure out how to do. This lady was amazing. She was doing pretty much the job that 3 people are doing right now, and they still can't get it right. So, and as far as property crimes to break down December, there was 3 thefts from vehicles and 2 vehicle thefts, all one incident. So they were all at the same house the same day, and that was pretty much it for the majority of your property crimes. Other than that, we're still hitting the weak roads every week, and keep on bringing in the tips as you get them, and that's pretty much about it.
Fantastic. Anybody have any pressing questions for Officer Martinez? If not, we sure thank you for showing up here. Appreciate the report and wish you the best for this new year.
Thank you.
Don, before
Yeah.
Officer Martinez goes away, we need to, unfortunately, bring up the Zoe International location.
Yes.
Because when you look at his reports, okay, since they opened in October, they've been out there on an average of 1 a day. It is, we were completely misled on how this program is working. It's unfortunate,
So
but
I showed Mary earlier today I showed her today, as of October 1st, there's been 100 calls for service to that location. The units there that work the county are very familiar with them now, are very frustrated with them. There's a lot of different compartments going on, but they've started actually criminally charging some of these girls for some of the stuff that's going on.
So basically, I think it'd be a good idea to have them come back and visit our February meeting.
yeah, I think so. Vicky is the gal who was the one who was telling us how great it was going to be, and we went over there and we visited, and it looked like it would be nirvana to girls who wanted to be there, but obviously these girls don't want to be there. So we need to figure out some way, because this is becoming a real big nuisance and contributing to crime in the neighborhood that we don't need.
Yeah, well, and just having to have the sheriff go out there on a regular basis, that's not the way we viewed it from the beginning.
Right, and my fear is that if there is really a runaway in the area that's just happens to be from that area, it may not be taken as seriously as it could be. So it's a problem. So let's work on getting Vicky back for February.
Okay,
Hey, Mary,
now we should-
it's Stephanie English. Can I ask a question really quick?
Sure.
Yes.
Orlando, what crime is happening out there, and what are the patterns? I mean, there must be some kind of similar pattern of activity.
It's kind of of sensitive nature. I could give you a call on it, but the majority of it is habitual runaways. So that's going to be the bulk of it. It's not a locked facility, so the girls can leave whenever they want. They have access to their telephones, and it's a no-touch facility, so they can't physically stop them. You couple that with their ability to still have their cell phones, you can kind of infer what is actually transpiring.
Wow.
But I can talk to you more about it.
Yeah,
Stephanie, if you like.
I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay.
Appreciate the report. Next up, we have Los Angeles County Fire Department, Maria Grykamp. Maria with us here? Yes, she is.
Yes,
Maria, you have the floor.
Thank you. I am here. And just before I start with my report, Mary, if you could just email me the address of that facility, I'll do a search to see if I can bring up the frequency of fire department responses to that facility as well.
Okay.
I will do that.
Thanks. Okay, so for the month of December, there were a total of 52 responses. 36 of those were for medical calls, and we had 23 patients who were transported. We had 2 fires. They were both vehicle fires. One was on Sierra Highway, and one was 14 and Agua Dolce Canyon Road. And then we had 1 gas leak with no damages and wires down on Escondido Road. So that's the extent of the December report. What I did also do is I just made a table, which I had emailed over to Mary as well. I just kind of summarized all of the 2021 activity. So it's just raw stats, no noteworthy incidents or anything. So it's just broken down by fires, EMS, service calls, and there it is. Thank you, Mary. So that is something that I'm going to do now, and it also gives you the year-end totals from the previous year as well. We don't usually make any correlations of, whether something is up or down, but sometimes people find it interesting to see, what kind of fluctuations there are. So for 2021, we had a total of 432 responses in Agua Dolce. So, and then you can see what the breakdown is, and month by month, and then for the entire year. So I just thought that would be something that might be interesting to you. And the reports from now on, starting in January, are probably going to look more like this type of format. So I'll just keep carrying it forward, where all the months will be blank, and you'll still get the noteworthy incidents below for that particular month.
Great, fantastic. Well, that kind of gives us an idea of just what's going on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Maria. I'm glad.
One other thing, I just wanted to take a minute to introduce to you. We do have our on-duty battalion chief today is John Vitorovich.
Okay.
And I had sent him the information to join the meeting so he could kind of meet you all. And he is in the room if he wants to pop his head up and just say hello and introduce himself to you guys.
Wonderful.
Yeah, hello, Assistant Chief Percuda, and the other PCs that will be in attendance, Travis Wilson or Randy Perry. So it'll be the one of the 3 of us.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
And as they're available, as you know, they might be on responses or something, but as they're available, they will be coming in as well.
Great. Thank you, Maria. I appreciate that. I appreciate you, John, showing up here in attendance.
You're welcome.
Okay. Next up, we have the Acton Agua Dolce Library report from Librarian, Chief Librarian Jim Wall. Jim's here. Okay.
I'm here.
Great.
Hi, hope everyone's doing well tonight.
Doing well, real well.
Good. I do have a very short report. Library does have a holiday on Monday, so we will be closed. But otherwise, our normal hours will be open. And we still have a bunch of activity kits that we keep getting more and getting them out, so people have activities to complete still, things to do at home with the kids or the family. And it's always linked to online virtual programs or online videos to educate you a little bit about what you're doing.
Wonderful.
So that's about all I've got, unless anyone's got questions for me.
Does anybody have a question for Jim? If not, thank you very much, Jim. We appreciate you. Appreciate you being here every meeting. It's you're one that we can always count on. That's for certain.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Have a good year.
You too.
Okay. So that brings us up to the 5th District report from Stephanie English. Stephanie.
Hi, everybody. Let's see. Let me get my notes here. Well, as we all know, there's been, unfortunately, I know we're all sick of this COVID topic, but there's been a lot going on with Omicron. And the Public Health Department updated their quarantine orders and school orders January 10th. That aligns with the state. And as it relates to quarantine, all vaccinated or fully vaccinated who haven't received a booster dose and who are close contacts with those who are positive COVID cases must quarantine for 5 days after their last contact with that positive case. On day 5, they're required to test, and they can end their quarantine if they're asymptomatic. If they don't test, quarantine is supposed to end on day 10. That is not applicable to the healthcare community, as you know. The changes for the schools through TK through 12, there's strong recommendation for all eligible staff and students to receive boosters. Testing is required for close contacts who are permitted to remain in school regardless of their vaccination status. Masking is required for all outdoor activities where distancing is not feasible except while eating or drinking. This component has gotten a lot of feedback and frustration from mostly parents, because the health order does say masking is required for even exertion in sports if distancing cannot be maintained. But there is some common sense and some discretion that can be used there. So if it's not feasible, say kids are on a basketball court and breathing heavily and sweating and running, it could be interpreted that the masking is not feasible under that condition, as an example. Staff are required at the schools to wear upgraded masks, surgical or higher level masking. And students are strongly recommended to wear the well-fitting masks, not the non-cloth masks, which in the beginning, everyone was told the cloth masks were okay, and I think that Dr. Ferrer still says they're better than nothing, but they are recommending the well-fitting masks, the proper masks. As of January 10th, LA County had close to 44,000 new positive cases, and I think 3,400 hospitalizations. I think that's up as of today, though, to 4,000. Dr. Ferrer did share with us that 60% of the patients in the hospital with COVID are there not as a result of COVID, but came for a different reason, were routinely tested for COVID as they're doing, and found to be positive. And 40% are there as a result of COVID complications, and typically those folks are unvaccinated or have health conditions. Recently, I think you probably heard Supervisor Barger allocated $1 million in discretionary funding during the holidays to support the Sheriff's Department and enforcement and patrol in our unincorporated communities. Difficult right now because the Sheriff's Department is so understaffed, and so I'm sure Orlando can relate to this. There's a lot of overtime occurring, so that was a hard gig to fill, but we did get some extra hours during the holidays. As you know, Supervisor Barger is a huge supporter of law enforcement and really appreciates the good work that they do. I was asked to talk about the new brush clearance fee. Mary, I don't know if you want to share the presentation or you just want me to talk about it a little bit.
No, why don't you just talk about it?
Okay, great. Let me grab my notes on that. Bear with me 1 second. So, as you may or may not know, there's a new brush clearance fee that will cost $150 for an inspection. And the history behind how this occurred was the fire department last year had about 40,000 parcels that they inspected for brush clearance compliance. Beginning this year, they expect that will increase to 50,000 parcels. They never there's a new the new Assembly Bill 38 and AB 3074 requires some more enforcement. For instance, AB 38 it relates to real estate transaction and requires the seller to disclose that they're in the they're in a high fire severity zone, and that they have provided defensible space, and to obtain a compliance certificate. inspection is required if not performed in the last 6 months. So that puts a little bit more strain on fire department resources to meet that requirement. And AB 3074 requires a 5-foot Ember resistant zone around residential structures in the high fire and very high fire severity zones. That will go into effect in 2023. There's some spacing requirements that I won't go over. Mary has those in front of her. She can share those with the community. Sorry, I'm reading through my notes here. So those assembly bills have put more strain, as I said, on the fire department to provide those brush clearance requirements. And, you know, we do have our county ag department who does a lot of brush inspections. They charge for their brush inspections, or they've got some kind of budgetary reimbursement for theirs, but for some reason the fire department, you know, never had a way to recoup those fees. And they submitted to the auditor controller some information fire department did to figure out, you know, what it's costing them in manpower and time, and they came up with the fee of $150.96. So the annual inspections will be increasing to improve those wildland fire life safety defensible space programs that were initiated by AB 38 and AB 3074, and will help make the fire department whole in terms of meeting that requirement. I don't know if there's any questions about that. I know it's not ideal. You know, we already have some taxes related to that. So I know for those of you in the high fire severity zones who have some pressures with insurance and other issues, it does add to your bill.
Stephanie, one question regarding that. Is that going to be for homes only? Is it going to be for bare property? Is it per parcel or per acre, or how do they? Improved homes. It does include some commercial, as I understand it. So yeah, for improved homes, improvements. So property that has improvements on it, then,
right.
Basically.
Right.
Okay. And their land would be exempt from that, then?
I don't believe that that's included. No.
Okay. And if that's the case, then how is the assessment going to be made for that $150 charge? Is it going to be added on to the tax bill? Are they going to bring an invoice when they come out and do the inspection? Or how have they talked that over at all?
You know, that's a really good question. I don't think I have the answer to that. It may be something involved in the real estate escrow process. I'm not sure. I don't know, Mary, and maybe you have some information on that, but I can certainly I don't know if we have Maria or the BC on the line still. They might know something, but we could certainly get that answer.
Okay. And is it just going to be for transaction property? In other words, is it going to be for every home in Agua Dolce is going to be assessed this $150, or just the ones that are going through escrow?
No, let me go back to the presentation. It is on improved parcels, as I understand it. Let me see here.
It is on improved parcels. It's on improved parcels because those are the only parcels that the fire department actually inspects. The unimproved parcels are inspected by county ag. And if they already have a mechanism for charging for those inspections, then that mechanism would stay in place and they would continue to charge however they charge. But it's the fire department that does the improved parcels. So that is why it's improved parcels that's affected by this.
Okay.
So Maria, thank you for that. Do you know if it goes on the tax bill or it goes through some kind of, you know, billing process, or what do you know anything about that?
I don't know for sure. I will find out for sure, but my inclination is to say that it's going on the tax bill.
All right. Will you follow up with that with Mary?
Yes, I will. I will find out definitively how that is being billed, and I will let Mary know.
Right.
Yeah, Stephanie, I just looked through the PowerPoint and I couldn't find anything about how it's going to be implemented.
Yeah, I didn't see that included.
Yeah, Chris, I don't know if you looked that up while we were talking, but Chris just posted a message that says that he believes it's every year, every home, which that much I knew, and that it goes on the property tax bill.
Okay.
Thanks, Chris.
Hey, Mary, it's Lou. Can I ask a question? Or Don, I'm sorry.
You bet.
Yeah, this is for, well, Maria or Stephanie. But the way Stephanie just explained this was almost verbatim the measure, I want to say it was measure FD in 2020, where they were going to do 6 cents per square foot. Because I remember the average house being 2,500 square feet, and the 6 cents per square foot would be about $150, which is this fee. And that ballot measure was defeated. So now, a year later, it's now been assigned as a fee. So I'm just wondering if that was how this is related, because that measure was for wildfire. I know it didn't say specifically brush clearance, but
No, Measure FD was not for necessarily for wildfire. Measure FD was for the fire department.
It was to recoup overall costs that the fire department needed, and as you said, Lou, it was voted down. This is to recoup costs for the work that the fire department has to do as a result of SB 38 and 3074 to recoup their costs. Just on inspections.
okay, it's just a coincidence. It's two unrelated things. Okay.
Yeah, very unrelated, yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't AB 3074 and AB 38 both pertaining to homes that are sold, something that has to be done while those homes are in escrow?
Yeah, you have to notify the buyer that you're in a high fire severity zone, and that you have to have an inspection certificate. I forget what they're calling it, but that your fire requirements on your property are all met.
Okay. So those are the two bills that brought this into being, it sounds like.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they're not only going after the homes that are in escrow being sold or changing hands, but they're actually going after all the homeowners.
For improvements, for homes with improvements.
Right, but whether they're selling it or not.
Yeah.
In other words, it sounds like those bills were instituted for homes that are being sold, but this fee is going to be for not only homes that are being sold, but also any existing homes that are an improvement on the property.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. And who approved that?
That was approved by the board.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, Don, I have a question for Stephanie, and it relates to, I think, the next topic, which is the redistricting. I understand that Acton and Agua Dolce are going to be aligned with the Antelope Valley and no longer the Santa Clarita Valley as a result of this process. Does that mean that in the future that Stephanie will no longer be Catherine Barger's or District 5 Supervisor's representative for Acton and Agua Dolce?
No, I'm here. Our district on the county level changed in the West Hollywood, those areas out there, but we didn't change countywide. In our area, I'll remain here, thankfully, and I think that Patsy and Congressman Garcia's office can update you on any other changes that relate to their redistricting.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Chris? Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Stephanie. We appreciate it, and look forward to hearing from you in the future. Great. Now we have California 38th Assembly District report. Assembly member Susette Martinez Valadares. Patsy, I think, is.
Hey everyone, how you guys doing tonight?
Yeah, there he is. Good. How about you, Brandon?
Can't complain. I mean, new year, same old stuff for the most part. Unfortunately, COVID's throwing a wrench in a lot of my planning, so it's been an interesting 2 weeks so far. But happy to be here. Happy to be going into a new year. Hopefully things start to get back on track, because being a field rep in post-COVID world is a very, very weird circumstance, to say the least. But as Patsy touched on, obviously one of the big things is redistricting. So with that being said, that's where I'm going to segue to start off with. So 21st Senate District is what we currently are. We're going to be shifting to now the 23rd Senate District. A lot of our district has stayed the same. Thank God for that. Makes life a lot easier on our end. We span from Stevenson's Ranch out to the border of Kern County, then out to the west side of the 5 freeway over by the Grapevine, out to Victorville and Hesperia. So it's very similar to what we currently have, as opposed to, obviously, as Patsy mentioned, assembly districts are changing quite a bit, which is going to be very interesting, to say the least. On an upside, Acton and Agua Dolce are in the same district, so there isn't that gap between two towns. Downside, you're shifting assembly members a lot. But, I mean, no matter where you go, either on Assemblywoman Valadares' office or Assemblyman Lackey's office, you have good representation. So at least that's a beautiful thing. Yep. With that being said, if you guys have any questions about the redistricting, I'm happy to answer anything that I can or look into it and get back to you on anything that I don't have the answers for currently. I added 2 links in the chat for both the final maps as well as the Google Drive document that references each community that's impacted how they're redistricted, everything with that, as well as the redistricting committee's guidelines and all that fun stuff. Fair warning, it is a very, very dense read, so hopefully get some popcorn if you're going to read through it, because it's quite dense. Aside from that, on the legislative side, the 2022 legislative session reconvened January 3rd. So we are going into a new session. There are some bills from last year they're carrying over, as well as new bills being proposed. With that, we are still developing our legislative package, and I will have more information for you on the bills we're proposing and what we're pursuing at the next meeting. Senator Wilk is still the Republican minority leader for this year, so that's always awesome. It's keeping us very busy. And then one bill that I did want to bring to your attention is going to be SB 841. It was just introduced by Senator Jones 2 days ago, so Monday. As most of you have probably seen in the news, sexually violent predator release is a very, very large topic currently. Unfortunately, in the Antelope Valley, we've had 2 placed. We all know, if you look at any of the maps, Acton and Agua Dulce are no strangers to having violent criminals placed in there when they are released. With that being said, Senator Jones did just author a bill and introduced it that would create new restrictions, as well as hold the State Department of Hospitals responsible, and create a limit on the amount of sexually violent predators that can be placed in specific supervisory districts within specific counties. So that's one I'm keeping track of right now. I don't have a fact sheet for it currently, just because it was just proposed. As it starts to develop, I'll come back to you with obviously more information going forward, but it is something that definitely hits close to home. I know I've been tracking a lot of the SVP placements lately, including Calvin Grassmeyer, the new one, Latisse Roden, who was just placed in Lancaster, as well as a possible new one that is currently in the court system, and I believe there's a press conference for it tomorrow. The AV Press did an article. It's for James Tubbs. That's pretty much all I have on my side currently, obviously with legislative session just reconvening. I don't have too much of a dense report. The only other thing would be preliminary budget drafts for the state. There are some good and some bad. Obviously, budget drafts are always very interesting, to say the least. But some good things that I do want to bring up is some of the ideas that the legislators were pushing last year and actually got into the state budget this year, including a possible limit to gas tax increases for 1 year. So as most of you know, there's supposed to be another increase in gas taxes. And as pretty much any commuter community, we know we pay the largest gas taxes in the United States at, I believe, 51 cents currently. So there is a proposal with the current budget draft that would put a hold on the newest increase. There's also wildfire prevention, business assistance, and let's see, tax relief for businesses, and some things to help help local governments combat retail theft, which, if anyone watches the news, has unfortunately skyrocketed due to certain legislation and policies. So obviously the budget, this is just a draft. It's still being hammered out. We actually did do a press release. I'll put that link in the chat as well if anyone would like to read it. And if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer anything I can.
Yeah, Marcy, go ahead.
What I was suggesting is, rather than talking to the developer who can so I was just encouraging everyone to do a public records request with regional planning or public works to find out about the water, because I've done it and there are no plans whatsoever to bring water to this town other than their development. And so I don't know why that rumor's being spread unless they're spreading it, but that's completely inaccurate. They have not applied to bring water to anybody in this town.
Okay. All right. Looks like Marcy Winter has her hand up there. Is that what that means? Up there in
yes,
the
another Marcy.
Okay. Yes, Marcy.
I just wanted to voice my concern about this project. My property is very near to where this is happening, and I don't know how many of you who are listening to this are relatively new to the Agua Dolce area. We've been here for 3 years, and at the time that we purchased our home, there was nothing mentioned, nothing in our escrow documents. Nobody brought up the fact that this proposed tract existed, and you know, we've moved out here for peace and quiet and the beauty of the area, and we have put a good amount of money into improving our home and remodeling and making it beautiful. We plan on being here forever, and we have a real concern about the fact that we had no idea going into this that this thing even existed, and everything that I'm reading and hearing about is downright frightening. And I wanted to make sure that the council members were aware of my concerns, and hopefully others who are in my position will also voice their concerns, so you know how really important this is and how many people are affected.
Thank you, Marcy. You know, when we had the meeting in November, I believe all those questions, and Mary, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the questions that were raised were forwarded to RTG for them to answer. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, I don't know.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And have we heard anything back? I mean, did they respond? Were they going to respond to the people individually, or are they going to copy us with what their answers were?
They indicated that they would reply to all the issues. We have not received that, but I expect I'll follow up with them after tonight's meeting to see when we can anticipate getting that.
Okay. Because that was the main thing. But that's the reason why we held that meeting, was so everybody could express their concerns. Mm-hmm. And in doing that, Mary was able to capture the concerns that were brought up during the meeting, and also those that were in the chat room talk. That would be Mary Johnson and Peter Massey. Is Peter with us tonight?
Sorry, I was making notes. I wasn't paying
Peter's
attention.
here. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I jumped right into your part. Santa Clara River Watershed Area Steering Committee, Measure W.
I think Peter's here. Peter, take it away.
Peter's here. Great. Hey, Peter. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to everybody. Just to let you know, the committee has been looking at proposals for projects that were submitted into the system back in July. None of the projects that were submitted, there were actually, three of them were affecting the Agua Dolce area, and we were successful in getting one of them, which is the pathogen study, to have language so that it would protect folks from and homeowners and property owners from this area from potential challenges or liabilities in the way it was structured. And those things are being looked at again toward then being put into a possible strategic investment plan that the committee would approve at some point in this year. We're also at work as a watershed coordinator. I'm at work with a team on some potential new projects. Some of them could benefit this area, and we'll bring some more information on those that would focus on some drought resistance and water resilience in the area, and we'll probably be bringing them back to this group or a workshop that we put together with folks from this area, however we want to handle it, for feedback before we move on with any next steps. And we hope to have those initial very, very rough sketches done by the end of this month. That's it.
Thank you, Peter. Appreciate that report. Next up, we have high-speed rail update from Pam Walter, if she's with us here tonight. Pam? I don't see her. Anybody else have anything to share toward the high-speed rail? If not, we're going to move over to our committee reports. First off, the first committee is Candy Clementi with the CHP Community Advisory Committee meetings. Candy?
No meetings, sir.
Okay. Second, we have Bylaws Revision Committee, Lou and Mary. Anything to report? Your microphone's off there.
Okay, nothing to report. I'm hoping to have a draft copy of the revised bylaws at the February meeting.
Okay, awesome. Look forward to that. Election Committee Chair, Rosie Heffley, you're up.
Nothing to report other than if anybody wants to join the election committee with me and Trish Brewer, we would love to have you. So that's all I can say. We have 8 months to decide what you want to do, but we would love to have you.
Well, we appreciate your efforts, Rosie, and we appreciate you coming tonight.
Okay, and just one other thing, Don, because the town council treasurer takes care of the election committee finances. At the end of every election, we need to have a final financial report. Okay. And that final financial report is, we had a beginning balance of $2,439, candidate application fee income of $200, election expenses of $62.83, with an ending balance of $2,576.17. And a big thank you to Rosie for running the election that really didn't have to happen.
Yeah, but it looks like we made some money on the deal. That's great.
And Mary, I want to tell Mary, thank you very much. She's always there to support us.
Yes,
thank you.
Definitely. Okay, Film Committee, Candy Clemente.
7 shoots.
Great, wonderful. Land Stewardship, we don't have anybody chairing that committee yet, but we have Parks and Trails, which is held by Mary.
And I've got nothing to report.
Okay. Water Stewardship, definitely December was a great month for rain. And I want to thank everybody for praying for rain and doing whatever they could do to make it rain more, because we got quite a bit. I think we got about 7 or 8 inches, which is more than we got all last year. So far we're looking good. I don't know how long it'll take for it to improve our water well productions, but I will say that this year we have not tested any wells that made less water than they did last year. So that's a good thing. So we're off to a good start. Ways and Means, Scott's not here. So we'll go to disaster planning. Is Gary here by any chance? I don't see Gary. Okay. Acton Agua Dolce School Board Liaison. We're waiting to have someone chair that committee. And then we have the Acton Town Council Liaison, Lillian Smith. Lillian, are you still with us? I see her.
Okay, I see from Lillian, she said Acton Town Council canceled its January 3rd meeting for several reasons. Nothing new right now. The next meeting is January 17th with lots coming up.
Sounds like we're going to be too busy, or busy two communities in the future, it sounds like, which is good. Announcements. Free mattress recycling collection is January 15th, 9 to 2. Household hazardous waste and e-waste collection, first and third Saturday of each month. Senate Bill 1383 provides for organics diversions workshop. That's January 18th. And Palmdale Sheriff Community Advisory Committee Town Hall will be January 24th, 6 to 8 p.m. at the Acton Community Center, which is down there on Nichols Avenue in the middle of downtown Acton. Association of Rural Town Councils meeting going to be held January 26th via Zoom. Everybody's invited to that. Next Agua Dolce regular meeting is going to be February 9th, and it too will be held via Zoom. So the old business, obviously, we are waiting the responses from RTG Investments. New business, none other than getting the answers back from those questions. Future agenda items are Cali Lake, LA County Public Works trash collection contracts, update from SCE on reconductoring progress, and Zoe International. See how they respond. Other than that concludes our meeting tonight. If I can get a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. I have a motion on the floor. Someone
Does
want to
Chris have his hand up?
I do.
Okay. That's it. Oh, do you have a question? You want to, is that, are you seconding it?
No, actually, Don, I just wanted to follow up on a topic that we raised a couple of months ago in the Any Other Business, and that was the contamination of the water supply down in Sleepy Valley with high nitrates that the water company was asked to look into by the Department of Public Health.
Okay.
We actually investigated it, and we filed a couple of complaints with the Public Health for sewage. And on Monday this week, at the water company's expense, we actually pumped the well of the septic of one of the adjacent properties and found that the metal septic had actually rusted out and had a large hole in it. And the leach field was completely blocked with sludge. So we think that that's a very likely candidate for the source of the contamination for the public water supply down here. So we're going to report that back to Department of Public Health. It's not clear to us what, if anything, will be done about it, though. So we'll keep you posted.
We'll appreciate your efforts on that. Hope you get to the bottom of it. So we have a motion on the floor. I'm looking for a second.
Second it.
Second by Chris. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much for everybody attending, and we will have a great new year. Hopefully we get some answers.